blockade is impenetrable. When the Republic attacks, they will get quite a surprise.
I realize I normally don't start with a clip with this show, but what is with that spinny thing on that guy's head? Seriously, why does it keep moving? What's its purpose? I realize that's attached to his visor, but what does it do? It just irritates me every time I hear it twirl. Seriously, it's like, just stop. I'm sure Wikipedia would explain it, but screw it. It ain't worth looking up. With that out of the way, welcome to episode, what is this, 19? Yes, 19. Storm over Ryloth, which is an episode that's about having Ahsoka develop as a character, becoming more responsible by putting her in charge of men, and then watching them get slaughtered due to her inexperience and inability to follow orders. But then ending with her saving the day by coming up with a new, bold battle strategy, which is to basically let them hit the hull of the ship in order to protect the bridge. And use the bombers to outflank the enemy ships. Actually, it's sort of strange how dangerous the fighters tend to be in this show in comparison to the frigates and carriers. Then again, I guess in Infinite Space they're also far more dangerous, but it seems sort of strange in space battles, at least, that the smaller ships would be far more dangerous than the big ships with their big guns and cannons. Though, I guess that is true in sea warfare, that the ships themselves aren't anywhere near as dangerous as the ships carrying the airplanes, carrying bombs and whatnot. This is why carriers are king of the sea. And the fact that the U.S. was lucky when Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, all the carriers were out at the time, so yes, carriers are the heart of pretty much any fleet nowadays. I guess you can argue in certain games like Infinite Space, the battleship's king, but the best battleships also double up as carriers, so they're sort of a fusion of both, a super carrier, if you will. Well, I'm getting off track. No, Storm over Ryloth is probably my favorite episode of the first season, to be honest. I don't know, it's just nice to see Ahsoka get some time for development as a character, which is something we haven't really gotten much of in this series, because usually things just happen at a breakneck pace. That's hard to think about anything unless you stop and pause the episode or think about it in retrospect. It's nice to see them at least try to put in some effort to develop Ahsoka as a character, show her learning to be more responsible and developing her skills as a commander on the battlefield. On the other hand, watching Anakin put his life in Ahsoka's hands sounds unbelievably risky and stupid after we watched her lose her entire squadron because she wouldn't retreat after she was outnumbered and caught in an ambush. Instead of retreating, she decided to keep going on the attack. While her intentions were good, that was a very poor call on judgment that cost her entire squad, lost the Anakin an entire carrier, and left another carrier so heavily damaged that Anakin decided the only thing he could really do with it was to pilot himself and then crash it into the command ship of the enemy. Which admittedly is sort of cool, watching a ship slam into another ship on purpose. Ramming stuff is always cool in space. I don't know why. It's just sort of interesting watching stuff collide and then completely destroy each other. I do question what happened to all the debris. Did some of it fall onto Ryloth? Then again, maybe that's not too important, because Ryloth seems to be mostly a desert world, so I don't know if there would be too much for it to really slam into, for the most part. I guess if it hit one of the major cities, you'd have a problem. A major problem. Though maybe most cities in this space, sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, science fiction series have shields around themselves as well, act as barriers for when space debris falls down from the sky. Don't know. Though I don't know if there's much to talk about outside of the battle and the tactics used during it, whether it be outflanking your enemy or ambushing your enemy or outsmarting your enemy, because in case of the Ahsoka, as she points out, the droids, at least the battle droids themselves, aren't very good tacticians. They tend to think a lot and hesitate, which put her plan at risk when she was going to outflank with their outflanking plan, because she was hoping for the droids to attack. And it takes them a couple, I don't know, seconds, a minute or two to get together and figure out what they should do after their captain / commander has ditched them. After he loses his command ship due to Anakin's was it the Defender slamming into it. Nice name for a ship, I guess, but I don't really care for it. Plus, it doesn't seem to sound all that Star Warsy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if there's much else I can really say about this episode either. It's not a bad episode, and at least it gives growth to Ahsoka as a character. Hopefully, we'll see some more growth for other characters in the other seasons, but I don't know when I'll cover those. I might put those off until May of next year to start on the next one. Well, it's even less relevant than now. Don't know. We'll find out. Next time we do episode 20, which starts the land invasion of Ryloth in order to remove Separatist occupation there. We've taken care of the Separatist blockade, now we have to save the planet itself.